next time you reach for that bottle of pills to fight off a nasty cold or a pesky fever, take a step back and ask yourself, how did our ancient ancestors survive without modern medicine? Let's travel back in time to ancient Rome, where the likes of antibiotics and medication were non-existent. So, what exactly did they use to combat illnesses like the common cold, fever, and even life-threatening diseases like cancer? The answers will shock you. You see, in ancient Rome, innovation was the name of the game, but the game was far from easy. The Romans had to navigate the challenges of daily life, uncovering secrets like perfecting their renowned concrete and preserving food without, accidentally poisoning themselves. When life gave them lemons, they didn't just make lemonade. They made a weird, wild, and sometimes downright gross concoction. Take, for instance, their genius, or insane, idea to use urine to remove grease stains from clothes. Or, how about their toothpaste recipe, which featured the key ingredient of mouse brains? Yes, you heard that right. Mouse brains. But here's the thing. The Romans weren't just being gross for the sake of it. They were on a mission to survive, thrive, and live life to the fullest, no matter what it took. And that's what makes their story so fascinating. So yes, they were masters of engineering, architecture, and culinary delights. But when it came to medicine, they were in a league of their own, and not exactly in a good way. In their quest to stay alive and sane, the Romans embarked on a journey of trial and error with some downright bizarre results. Despite their impressive knowledge in other areas, medicine proved to be a puzzle they couldn't quite crack. Diseases like malaria, smallpox, and the plague swept through the empire, leaving death and destruction in their wake. So, what did the Romans do to combat these killer diseases? Well, the first evidence of Roman medicine dwelt deeply on the theory of superstition, voodoo, and charms. They believed that appeasing the gods through rituals could ward off plagues and famines, which they saw as divine punishment. And when it came to the root cause of diseases, they blamed it on miasma, also known as bad air. But wait, it gets even better. For headaches, the Romans had a foolproof remedy to wrap herbs found growing near statue heads around your neck, and voila, instant relief. And that's not all. They had even more interesting methods up their sleeves. There was also the known gruesome gladiator remedy. Imagine drinking warm blood from a freshly killed gladiator as a treatment for epilepsy. Roman doctors actually prescribed this elixir, believing it would cure the mysterious affliction. And if that wasn't enough, they also advocated for eating a gladiator's liver. Talk about a bloody bizarre treatment. Roman doctor Scribonius Largus even reported that spectators would step forward and snatch a piece of liver from a gladiator lying gutted in the dust. It's hard to imagine a more gruesome scene. Physicians may have prescribed these almost unbelievable remedies because gladiators were seen as symbols of virility who died healthily. In their minds, the strength and vitality of the gladiator would be transferred to the patient through their blood and organs. But gladiator-based remedies weren't the only weird and wonderful treatments the Romans came up with. How about what parents did with their kids? Parents would hang penis-shaped amulets around their children's necks to ward off the evil eye, which was believed to bring sickness and death. These amulets, known as fascinum, were thought to have magical powers that would protect the child from harm. And if you thought that was wild, Roman emperors took things to the next level by ingesting small doses of poison daily to build immunity. This practice, known as mithridatization, was meant to help the emperor develop a tolerance to poison, thereby protecting him from would-be assassins or even sickness. These outrageous remedies might seem shocking to us today, but for the ancient Romans, they were just desperate attempts to survive in a world where medicine was still in its infancy. They didn't have the luxury of modern medical knowledge, so they relied on superstition, observation, and a healthy dose of creativity to come up with their own unique treatments. But it only got better from here. The Romans were on the cusp of a medical revolution. They were trading in their spiritual and superstitious ways for some good old-fashioned science. But how did they make the leap? It all started with a visit from Archigathus of Sparta, a Greek medical mastermind, in 219 BCE. He brought with him the wisdom of Greek medicine, and soon, other scientists and doctors followed suit. Some came as prisoners of war, while others were lured by the promise of big riches in Rome. These Greek brainiacs were on a mission to uncover the secrets of disease and disorders. They researched, they experimented, and they shared their findings with the Romans. And the Romans, eager to learn, adopted many of their ideas. But there was a catch. The Romans had a deep-seated aversion to dissecting corpses. The thought sent shivers down their spines, and this was merely due to their religious, ethical, and public health concerns. This meant that their understanding of human anatomy was, well, a bit dead in the water. But one man was determined to uncover the truth. Claudius Galen, a brilliant and fearless doctor, arrived in Rome in 162 CE with a mission to unlock the secrets of the human body. He had a deep passion for anatomy and soon became known for his expertise. Galen's secret: dissecting animals. He cut open pigs and primates, observing their anatomical structures and applying his findings to humans. It was a genius move, and his public dissections became the talk of the town. People gathered to watch, mesmerized by the doctor's skill and knowledge. Galen's fame grew, and he became Emperor Marcus Aurelius's personal physician. He wrote medical books, lectured to packed crowds, and even dissected a few human corpses. With permission, of course. His findings were groundbreaking, revealing the intricacies of bone structure and the brain's role in controlling muscles. But you see, the spiritual beliefs surrounding medicine in Greece were also common in Rome. And so, by the 3rd century BCE, the Romans had adopted a religious healing system called the cult of Aesculapius, a Greek god of healing who became the Romans' go-to deity for all things medical. By the 3rd century BCE, the Romans were building shrines in his honor, which soon morphed into full-fledged spas and thermal baths. And, of course, no self-respecting spa would be complete without an in-house doctor. But the Romans didn't stop there. When plagues swept through Italy in 431 BCE, they built a temple to Apollo, the Greek god with some serious healing style. And, in a bizarre twist, they even borrowed a sacred snake from the Greeks. This slithery creature escaped, only to reappear on the Tiber Island, where the Romans built a sanctuary in its honor. People flocked to this spot, seeking healing and solace. Fast forward to the Roman conquest of Alexandria, where they stumbled upon a treasure trove of knowledge. The Greeks had left behind a legacy of libraries, universities, and research centers, bursting with documented medical know-how. The Romans were quick to capitalize on this windfall, soaking up the knowledge like sponges. And so, the stage was set for a medical revolution that would change the course of history. The Roman Empire's military might was legendary, but have you ever wondered what kept their soldiers fighting fit? It all started with a simple observation. The health of their troops was crucial to their success. And so, Roman leaders took the first steps towards revolutionizing public health. Roman surgeons got their hands dirty on the battlefield, armed with a trusty toolkit containing arrow extractors, catheters, scalpels, and forceps. They were pioneers in sterilization, boiling their equipment in water before use. Talk about dedication. Emperor Augustus took it to the next level by establishing the first professional military medical corps. He lured top Greek doctors with promises of Roman citizenship, tax breaks, and retirement pensions. This dream team formed the first field surgery units, designing sanitation systems that kept diseases at bay. Their innovations, they were groundbreaking: the hemostatic tourniquet to stop bleeding, and techniques to stick arteries. Camp doctors were the empire's medical trailblazers, soaking up new ideas on their travels and honing their skills in field hospitals. Thanks to these medical heroes, the average soldier lived 5 years longer than the average citizen. Roman surgeons even used opium and scopolamine to ease pain and acid vinegar to clean wounds. While they didn't have anesthetics for complex surgeries, they still managed to perform remarkable procedures. While the medical world was largely dominated by men, women played a crucial role in caring for expectant mothers. In fact, scholars have uncovered evidence that women were practicing medicine, albeit in smaller numbers. These female medical pioneers were often free women of Greek origin, and some even ventured beyond gynecology and obstetrics. However, it was more common to find women working as midwives, assisting doctors during childbirth, and administering fertility treatments. Many of these midwives had previously been enslaved, but they earned great respect for their skills. So, what did maternity care look like in ancient Rome? For starters, midwives used a clever birthing stool with arm and back supports and a crescent-shaped opening for delivering the baby. Talk about innovative design. Caesarean sections were also performed, although they were incredibly risky for the mother. Sadly, the women rarely survived, but the baby might be saved. Despite these challenges, ancient Roman midwives and female doctors demonstrated remarkable dedication and expertise, paving the way for future generations of medical professionals. Rome was still in its phase of medical advancement, and guess what? A new era in healthcare dawned on ancient Rome as purpose-built hospitals began to sprout up. These sanctuaries of healing offered a peaceful refuge for the sick, vastly improving their chances of recovery. Within these hospital walls, doctors could finally observe patients up close, rather than relying on supernatural interventions. This marked a significant shift in Roman medicine as they began to unravel the mysteries of disease and prevention. Some Roman thinkers were remarkably insightful, proposing theories that align with our modern understanding of medicine. Take Marcus Terentius Varro, who lived from 116 to 27 BCE. He boldly suggested that diseases are caused by tiny, invisible creatures, a notion that foreshadowed our discovery of bacteria and viruses. Of course, not all Roman thinkers were on the same page. Some believed that the stars controlled human health, while others, like agricultural writer Lucius Junius Moderatus Columella, attributed diseases to swamp vapors. These ideas may seem old-fashioned, or even amusing to us today, but remarkably, they persisted for centuries, until just 200 years ago. But let's be honest, ancient Roman medicine was a captivating blend of Greek practices and local traditions. Physicians conducted thorough physical exams, just like their Greek counterparts, but progress in diagnosis, treatment, and prognosis was slow and patchy. Doctors often developed their own theories, leading to a diverse array of treatments. Moving forward into the world of Roman medicine, we find some fascinating remedies. Take fennel, for instance. This humble plant was the go-to treatment for nervous disorders, believed to calm the nerves. And then there's the rather unusual practice of applying unwashed wool directly to sores. But the Romans also had some surprisingly effective remedies up their sleeves. Elecampane, also known as horseheel, was a popular herb for digestive issues. An egg yolk, prescribed for dysentery, is actually a pretty healthy choice. Who knew? Sage, on the other hand, was held sacred for its perceived healing powers, and garlic was recommended for heart health, a practice that's been validated by modern research. The Romans even had a mysterious plant called silphium, possibly a type of giant fennel, which was used for everything from contraception to fever reduction. And willow, employed as an antiseptic, shows that the Romans were onto something. While the Romans' spiritual approaches might raise an eyebrow, many of their remedies were surprisingly effective. In fact, current research confirms the health benefits of garlic, egg yolks, and other ancient Roman treatments. Who knows? Maybe it's time to revisit some of these ancient remedies and uncover the secrets of Roman medicine. Then there was Pedanius Dioscorides, a trailblazing Greek botanist, pharmacologist, and physician who made waves in ancient Rome. During Nero's reign, Dioscorides practiced medicine in Rome and became a celebrated army doctor. His magnum opus, De Materia Medica, was a groundbreaking 5-volume pharmacopoeia journal that listed over 600 herbal remedies. This journal was the go-to medical resource for doctors for an astonishing 1,500 years. In ancient Rome, doctors subscribed to the humoral theory, which originated in Greece. This theory proposed that 4 internal substances, blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile, governed human health and emotions. These humors were intricately linked to the 4 elemental qualities: hot, cold, wet, and dry. Roman physicians believed that an imbalance of these humors triggered various ailments. Take Galen, a renowned Roman physician, who attributed cancerous tumors to an excess of black bile. To restore equilibrium, doctors employed an array of treatments, including bloodletting, vomiting, enemas, and inducing sweat. Patients were also fed large quantities of foods classified as hot, cold, wet, or dry. It was all about finding that delicate balance. The humoral theory may seem outdated today, but it dominated medical thinking for centuries. Dioscorides' work, however, remains a reference point, which paved the way for modern medicine. And to the Romans, Galen's method was a rather clever approach to curing ailments. His philosophy: opposites attract and cure. For a cold, he'd prescribe a swig of hot pepper to warm things up. And for a fever, cool cucumber, of course. But Galen's medical prowess didn't stop there. He, like many Roman physicians, believed that dreams held the key to unlocking the secrets of the human body. Emperor Caesar, along with many Romans, feared dreams, but Galen saw them as valuable diagnostic tools. In his medical practice, Galen would carefully consider his patients' dreams to identify humoral imbalances. He believed that dreams could reveal hidden insights about a patient's health beyond what physical observation could detect. As he wrote, "Whatever the ill see and seem to do in dreams often will indicate to us lack and excess and quality of humours." So, what did Galen's dream analysis look like in practice? Well, if a patient dreamed of snow or ice, Galen would diagnose an excess of phlegm, a humour associated with cold and wet qualities. On the other hand, dreams featuring fire signalled elevated levels of bile, a humour linked to hot and dry qualities. One fascinating case involved a wrestler who dreamed of struggling to breathe while standing in a cistern of blood. Galen diagnosed an excess of bile and prescribed bloodletting as the treatment. Who knew that dreams could be such a powerful tool in the pursuit of health? But there was Cato, the elder, a staunch traditionalist who scoffed at the Roman fascination with Greek culture. He saw Greek medicine as a particular threat and instead advocated for good old-fashioned Roman remedies. Before the rise of professional doctors, the head of the family, or paterfamilias, was responsible for dishing out medical advice. Cato the Elder was quite the doctor. He'd examine his neighbours and prescribe a humble head of cabbage to cure a range of ailments, from constipation to deafness. He'd provide detailed instructions on how to prepare the cabbage for specific ailments and even used it in liquid form. For example, a concoction of cabbage, water, and wine might be poured into a deaf person's ear to restore their hearing. But Cato's medical prowess didn't stop at cabbage. He had a creative solution for fractured or broken limbs. He'd use two ends of a cut reed, bandaging them around the injury. Who needs modern medicine when you have cabbage and reeds? Cato. The elder's unorthodox methods may raise a few eyebrows, but let's be real, it actually did work. Maybe you should give it a try. The thing is due to Cato. The elder's observations, the cabbage became something of immense value when it came to medicine in Rome. They hailed it as a superfood that could prevent and treat a multitude of ailments. Pliny the Elder sang the cabbage's praises, but it was Roman historian Cato the Elder who took it to the next level. In his treatise, De Agricultura, Cato waxed poetic about cabbage's incredible healing powers. According to him, he continued to claim that the humble vegetable could cure headaches, vision impairment, digestive issues, and even heal wounds, contusions, and dislocations. In a word, it will cure all the internal organs which are suffering, he wrote. But wait, there's more. Cato claimed that inhaling boiled cabbage fumes could boost fertility, and bathing in the urine of a cabbage-loving person could cure a range of ailments. Who knew cabbage was such a wonder drug? Of course, it's possible the Romans got a bit carried away with their cabbage enthusiasm. But here's the thing. Modern research confirms that cabbage is indeed packed with numerous health benefits. It aids digestion, is rich in vitamins and minerals, and even boasts antioxidant effects. So, it seems the Romans were onto something after all. Who knows? Maybe it's time to give cabbage the recognition it deserves. Add it to your salad, saute it with some garlic, or even try inhaling those boiled fumes. The Romans may have exaggerated cabbage's powers, but one thing's for sure: this humble vegetable is a true health hero. To take their medical practices up a notch, the Romans made sure to be the ultimate pioneers of public health. Unlike their Greek and Egyptian counterparts, they recognized the importance of hygiene in preventing the spread of diseases. And they didn't just stop at theory. They put their knowledge into practice with some seriously impressive infrastructure projects. Take their water supply system, for instance. The Romans built aqueducts that piped fresh water directly to cities, a feat of engineering that would remain unmatched for centuries. And their sewage system? Absolutely state-of-the-art. In fact, it wasn't until the late 17th century that anyone built anything comparable. So, how did the Romans manage to pull off these massive public projects? The answer lies in their vast, centralized empire. With the emperor holding the reins, they had access to cheap labor, wealth, and a top-down approach that made it all possible. Some wealthy Romans even enjoyed the luxury of underfloor heating in their homes. But the Romans didn't just stop at infrastructure. They also promoted personal hygiene through the construction of public baths and washrooms. And while their primary focus was on maintaining a healthy and motivated army, their citizens reaped the benefits too. Fast forward to today, and it's clear that the Romans' emphasis on public health has had a lasting impact. Their methods may have been ancient, but they're still widely used up till date. The Romans were truly medical trailblazers. Despite starting with some unconventional medical practices, they were remarkably open to learning from others, particularly the Greeks, sparking a medical revolution. The Romans' groundbreaking approaches continue to inspire us, and we do well to continue to adopt and build upon their pioneering approaches. Who knows what more medical breakthroughs we might achieve by standing on the shoulders of these ancient giants.